Hello everyone. Welcome to Learn English on the Go. This channel is all about improving your English skills quickly, easily, and with a ton of fun. I'm Annie, your host.
And I'm Harry, your personal English tutor. We're here to help you learn English in a fun and engaging way. Spend 10 minutes with us each day, and you'll see a big difference in your English.
Today, we're diving into the exciting world of hobbies. Learning vocabulary related to hobbies is useful because it helps you describe your interests and understand others better. It's also a great way to practice using different verb tenses and sentence structures.
Exactly. In this podcast, we'll explore different types of hobbies, learn some useful verbs and adjectives, and even do a fun little exercise to help you practice.
Stay tuned. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to confidently discuss your own hobbies and understand conversations about the hobbies of others. So grab your pens and paper or open a notepad on your device.
And let's get started. So, Annie, what types of hobbies are there? Can you name a few?
Sure. There are many hobbies to discuss. We can categorize them in different ways.
Great beginning. So, how should we categorize them?
There are creative hobbies, like painting, sculpting, or even writing. Then there are active hobbies, things like hiking, swimming, or playing team sports. And of course, there are collecting hobbies. As you mentioned, stamps, coins, comics, even vintage postcards. Then there are relaxing hobbies like reading or gardening.
Yeah, we can also think about hobbies that are more individual activities compared to those that are more social.
Individual hobbies? Are you talking about hobbies that you do alone?
Ideally, yes. For example, knitting or reading are usually individual activities.
I get it. But actually, I think it depends on the environment and whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. If you like being alone, you might read books or do pottery by yourself. I do that too. But sometimes I also join a book club where we read and share knowledge together. That's also a fun activity.
Right. Generally, there are some hobbies you don't need a partner for and can fully enjoy on your own.
I understand what you mean. We also have community-based hobbies, where a group of people with the same interests get together and share an activity, like joining a hiking club or playing in a street band.
That's interesting. Besides that, I think hobbies can also be categorized by the level of skill or dedication they require.
Like what?
Well, some hobbies, like playing a musical instrument, require a lot of dedication and practice to master.
Oh, that's true. When I was little, my parents made me play the piano, and I didn't like it much then. But as I grew up, it gradually became my hobby. Initially, I played for fun. But then the practice required me to be really persistent, hardworking, and serious to conquer the pieces I loved.
Exactly. Learning a new instrument also requires focus and skill. Some other hobbies, though, are simpler and don't require as much practice. Like bird watching, you just need time to observe, and it's quite accessible for beginners.
That's a really insightful point. When it comes to hobbies, it's about investment, not just passion and time. But I think it also includes financial costs.
Speaking of costs, some hobbies can be quite expensive. For example, I have a friend who collects antiques. His house even has a collection of paintings by famous artists from around the world. Visiting his home feels like an art exhibition.
I also know a friend who has a super expensive hobby of collecting designer handbags. Birkin, Hermes, Chanel, the pricey ones can't be missing from her display cabinet. She even has some in different colors.
It's a hobby. After all, everyone has different interests. Sitting and admiring your accomplishments is a great way to relieve stress.
Exactly. First and foremost, hobbies should bring joy. The cost depends on each person's economic condition. As long as they don't become a burden, it's all good.
So, do you have any expensive hobbies, Annie?
Expensive hobbies? Let me see. I usually enjoy outdoor activities like picnicking, playing badminton, or hiking, usually. They don't cost much. Probably my most costly hobby is traveling. Long trips can be quite expensive. But I think those costs are totally worth it because they bring me amazing experiences, new friends, and valuable lessons that no school or book can teach.
That's great. I also like traveling, but usually, it's just driving around the city for a few days or taking weekend trips with my family.
So, do you have any pricey hobbies, Harry?
I think so. I enjoy playing golf. People often call it the sport of the elites. Besides that, I'm a techie who is really buying new tech gadgets. For example, I like filming and photography, so I invest quite a bit in specialized electronic equipment.
It seems like life is always so busy, but I wonder how can you actually find the time to pursue them since it takes you lots of time taking photos or filming and editing, right?
That's a great question, Annie. It's all about managing your time and setting priorities. First, take an honest look at your schedule. What are your essential commitments? Work, family, important tasks? Once you have a clear picture of those, you can start to see where you might be able to carve out some time for a hobby.
So, making a schedule or a to-do list.
Exactly. Even writing down your daily activities can help you find time you didn't know you had. Maybe it's 15 minutes before bed, during lunch, or while commuting.
And then you can use those times for your hobby? Like, if I want to learn Italian, I could spend 20 minutes each evening on a language app.
Precisely. Small amounts of time add up. It's better to spend 15 minutes a day on your hobby than trying to do it all in one long session once a week.
That makes sense. What about setting goals? Does that help with motivation?
Absolutely. Setting achievable goals is key. Instead of saying, I want to learn the guitar, a better goal is, I will practice the guitar for 30 minutes 3 times a week for the next month. It's specific and attainable.
And how does someone turn a hobby into a passion?
It takes dedication and consistent effort. It means going beyond just enjoying something casually and really investing time and energy into it. This could mean taking classes, buying better equipment, joining a club, or setting ambitious goals.
So, it's about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone?
Exactly. Pushing yourself leads to growth. It's about challenging yourself, learning new techniques, and exploring more of your hobby. And don't forget, connecting with others who share your passion can be very motivating.
That's great advice, Harry. So, learners, it's time for us to review some practical vocabulary to describe your hobbies. To start a conversation, ask about hobbies. You can ask, what do you do in your free time?
What are your hobbies is also another great approach.
For the answer, just simply put I like, or my hobbies are.
Here are today's vocab lists. The first words on the list when we talk about creative hobbies are painting, making pictures with paint. For example, you can say, she spends her weekends painting landscapes.
Next we have sculpting. This is the activity of making shapes from clay or stone. For example, he enjoys sculpting clay into beautiful figures.
Talking of active hobbies, we have hiking, swimming and playing team sports such as football, volleyball, tennis, and badminton. Example, they go hiking in the mountains every summer. Swimming at the local pool helps him stay fit. She plays basketball with her friends every weekend.
For collecting hobbies, we have stamps, coins, comics, or vintage postcards. For example, he has a large collection of rare stamps from around the world. Collecting ancient coins is her passion. He enjoys collecting vintage comic books. She loves collecting vintage postcards from different eras.
For relaxing hobbies, we have reading or gardening. Example, reading mystery novels is her way to unwind. He finds peace in gardening and growing his own vegetables.
In individual hobbies, consider knitting, reading or pottery. For example, knitting scarves and sweaters keeps her busy during winter. Reading fantasy novels is his favorite solo activity. She spends her free time making pottery in her home studio.
In community-based hobbies, you can use joining a hiking club or playing in a street band. For example, joining a hiking club allowed him to meet new friends. Playing in a street band is a fun way to share his love for music.
To describe hobbies requiring dedication, We have playing a musical instrument or bird watching. For example, learning to play the guitar requires hours of practice. Bird watching is relaxing and easy for beginners.
To describe expensive hobbies, note these words for your upcoming conversation. Collecting antiques, old items. Collecting designer handbags. Traveling. Playing golf. Example: his collection of antiques includes rare and valuable items. Her collection of designer handbags includes brands like Birkin and Chanel. Traveling to different countries is an expensive but rewarding hobby. Playing golf is often considered a sport for the elites. If you are a tech lover, you can be a techie. Tech gadgets is a term for using the latest technology devices. For example, he loves buying the latest tech gadgets and equipment. Filming and photography. Example: investing in high-quality cameras and gear is essential for his photography hobby.
Alright. Hobbyists. That's our lesson for today. What are your hobbies? Comment on the below box to let us know about yours.
Whatever your hobbies are, remember to prioritize, schedule, set goals, and challenge yourselves.
Turning a hobby into a passion is a journey, not a destination.
Cheers to that. Thanks for the insightful conversation, Annie.
Enjoy our podcast. And keep practicing.
And thank you to all our listeners. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Keep learning, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next episode of English Learning on the Go.